Hey everyone, this is Senior Stationery and today's review is on the Pelikan Champion Fineliner. Thank you, Mr. Legoman. So this fineliner, for what I saw on catalogs, on vintage catalogs from Pelikan, this is probably only a Mexican market only pen. I didn't see it on any of the European catalogs and doesn't look like it was that much of an export quality. Um, it's fairly simple, looks fairly similar to 80s Papermate, uh, big rollerballs from back of that era. So I'm guessing this pen was from around the 1980s to early 90s. It was an new old stock find from a stationery shop where sometimes I have found some good vintage treasures, and works pretty good. Was probably stored or well stored because it didn't dry out, and it actually writes pretty good. One of the uh, odd uh, aspects of this pen, if you look closely, is that the body is not well aligned with the cap, despite the fact that it closes well shut. Um, it's not well aligned, so that tells us of the pre-NAFTA treaty quality we used to have here in Mexico. This is a reminder, this kind of products. We were used to this kind of things. We didn't know that much of good quality, or was like a hit or miss with quality back then. Here, as you can see, the end it's fairly cheap. Just says like a number 7 and like really fairly cheap disposable pen. As you can notice, we have the uh, typical Pelikan logo here on top, and as well also printed here with the block writings from the 1980s font Pelikan. But how well does this pen write? Let's see. If we open it, it's fairly simple. As you can see, it's fairly straight. There's no special grip area, it's just plain plastic. Kind of reminds us of the Papermate Flare pens. It's plastic fine liner tip or hard top tip, I guess, and it writes fairly okay. Now let's take a look. Let's do a quick test. So this is a Pelikan Champion marker pen. I mean, for a vintage pen, it writes fairly smooth. Has a very black ink, as you can see. Writes nice, fairly comfortable. So this is fairly comfortable. I wouldn't rely of this being. I mean, it writes like new, but being, as I said, considering the quality standards of back then, I wouldn't rely that much on this pen. I think vintage Papermate Flares may be even more reliable than this one. But nonetheless, it still writes nice. It's an interesting, for a plastic tip pen made in the 80s, it writes fairly smooth. As you can see, consistent. Good for writing only, not really sketching, just writing or signing up, but fairly okay despite the fact. Again, fairly simple design, nothing special, no grippy areas, just plain straight plastic. More texture on the outside, as you can notice. Smooth glossy plastic on the inside, and then an average tip pen. Again, fairly simple design. I'm inferring this is Mexican design from late 80s, the early 90s from Pelikan. I doubt this pen was available in other markets, really, to be honest. But it's still a good pen, I guess, nonetheless. For a cheap disposable, rollerball is fairly okay. So, I hope you like this review and stay tuned for more to come. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.